AI is killing the human spirit ever so slowly, and people aren't aware of it, right? AI is destroying art. You see all of this art with AI and this and that. It's not real art. It's created by AI. Real art is created by humans, right? We're seeing AI grammar checkers, which again makes you dumber because you don't learn how to use grammar properly by using your brain and thinking about it. You just give it to a robot to sort it out for yourself. And essentially, as I've mentioned earlier, we are just outsourcing our mind, making us a more stupefied species, right? As we continue to outsource our mind, we're going to continue to be dumber and dumber and dumber. There is no doubt about it. You can't just look at AI and get fact-based information and think you know a thing, right? That's like saying that you're going to study a philosophy on Wikipedia. You can't study a philosophy on Wikipedia. You've actually got to go and read all the books. So that'll create context in your mind. You'll then have nuanced thinking and understanding of what that subject actually is. Wikipedia gives you fact-based information and bite sizes, right? Just like AI. Hey, what is Advaita Vedanta? It is this. But how can you know what Advaita Vedanta is by just reading a fact-based statement from AI about it? You can't. And so this continual outsourcing of our mind is making us stupid. Think back to the Industrial Revolution, right? A lot of us think about what life was like pre-Industrial Revolution, right? Where we had a lot of skills and there are a lot of skilled workers, and that all just disappeared because of machines, right? That all disappeared. And now we think about it, well, how did they have all those skills? How did they make things with their hands like that? We lost all of it because of machines, right? And a lot of people will say, well, that's good, right? Because we are adherents of the apocalyptic religion of inevitable progress. Why do we want to make anything? Why would we want to use our mind when a machine can do it for us? Crazy thinking. Even when we look at IQ scores dwindling all around the world due to AI and students just going to ChatGPT to find their information, and they don't know how to write cursive anymore, if you can believe it, right? And so we're creating a world where you're not writing down your own ideas and formulating your own opinions on your own. You have assistance by the machine, which actually doesn't help you at all become more intelligent, which is why no surprise that IQ scores all around the world are dwindling. Another thing in relation to this, as I mentioned before, is about art, right? So real art is being destroyed, right? People don't write their own books anymore. They write an idea or a synopsis to the AI system, and it writes the book for them. It's like having the ultimate ghostwriter, right? Like a lot of those so-called best-selling authors have ghostwriters. They don't actually write the book themselves. Now they're probably just looking for the best AI system, and they might probably write a book a week. Who knows? So real art is being destroyed, right? They don't even know how to use the paintbrush, but they're making a Picasso, right? And this is a great disaster, a great disaster. The human spirit is a beautiful thing. Human creativity is a beautiful thing. You should never give that away, and you should reject that there is even a system that thinks it can do it for you. Even though you may think it's better than what you can do, it's not satisfying and it's meaningless, it's empty, right? It's an empty endeavor. I can tell you what it's like to write an actual book and what it feels like to finish that book, or create a video like I'm creating for you right now. But if an AI bot did that for me, it would be completely meaningless. Completely meaningless. And this says to me that people are more interested in making money than exploring the human spirit. Because why would I explore the human spirit if I can get an AI bot to make a video for me, put it on YouTube, and I can make all this money? Because at the end of the day, from that perspective, money is king. Tragedy. Complete tragedy. Right? And so that type of thinking is what's going to drive us over the cliff. It really is. You need to embrace the human spirit, human creativity, lean into that. Even for myself, I write all of my books by hand first, and then I type them up, right? I do the editing process when I type the book up. I read the book, it's right beside the computer, I type it up. I still write by pen, and I use cursive, which I've heard, unfortunately, cursive is disappearing due to students looking at a screen at school instead of writing on paper. Why are we doing this, right? It doesn't make people smarter. It does not. and it's proven. And even if we look at YouTube these days, right? YouTube is swamped with AI content and the consumers do not know anything about it. As I said, there are just so many AI channels on YouTube that are saturating the platform, taking views and dollars away from human creators, and YouTube, they don't seem to care because they make money regardless. They'll probably just end up making their own channels and it would just be all in-house while the human creators are just being pushed out the door, because why would you want to pay them when you can keep every ad dollar yourself with your own channels that are created by AI? And as I said, YouTube just don't seem to care. And a lot of creators have obviously spoken about this, and YouTube have said that they are trying to remedy this problem, but nothing has happened. But even if you tell people that AI is taking over YouTube channels, human creators are losing money, and it's taking views away from them and so forth and so on, people still have this childish fascination with AI and technology in general, right? It reminds me of a neighbor I had in Tiruvannamalai in the south of India. And I didn't know anything about ChatGPT, right? Knew nothing about it. Didn't even know these AI systems existed because I don't have a smartphone. I'm dedicated to the Eastern philosophical and spiritual knowledge and teaching that, right? This is my life. And so I don't really have a lot of room for a lot of this other stuff, right? It's just stuff, it's fluff, right? Anyway, my neighbor said to me, have you seen ChatGPT? Like, so good and this and that. It can actually write things for you. And he typed, what's Advaita Vedanta? Because we're in Tiruvannamalai. And he was just so obsessed with this technology, right? And he was so fascinated by it and by his phone, right? He was always looking at his phone. And I'm looking over the balcony at the holy mountain of Arunachala, right? And he's sitting there on his phone just next door. And inside, hiding away on his phone, in the comments section, what is going on here, right? How can you be fascinated by AI, be fascinated by ChatGPT, but you're in Tiruvannamalai, the holy mountain of Arunachala is there? You're not fascinated by that? You're not fascinated that it was the home of the great sage Ramana Maharshi? You're not fascinated by Ramana Ashram being there? You can go into Ramana Ashram every morning, which he didn't go to, obviously. And you're not fascinated about learning about Advaita Vedanta? You just type it into ChatGPT and it gives you 2 lines about what Advaita Vedanta is, and you think you know what it is, and you do not? What a great shame. What a great shame. And he's a great young gentleman, but obsessed with technology and not obsessed with the world around him, right? And he actually, he pretended to be a yoga guru / teacher, right? But I observed him every day and he was on his phone, right? He was on his phone while I'm on the balcony reading a book, sipping a chai, looking over Arunachala in awe, right? And so he was completely addicted with this world and where AI is taking us, but not addicted and intoxicated by the spiritual traditions that he pretends to represent. And in saying that, and talking about my neighbor hiding away and this and that, another way that AI kills the human spirit is that it kills community, right? And this began since the smartphone became a thing, right? And this is why I would talk to my friend back in 2010 with my concerns, and especially after the fact when apps and that became a thing on there, and everyone just followed, and it continued to follow, right? And so as a result, communication and community begins to die. There's no real communication, right? You can't be on WhatsApp sending messages all day, think you're in communication. Go and talk to someone face to face. Go sit at a coffee shop, go to a chai shop or something like this. Create real friendships in the real world. There's nothing wrong with sending a message in WhatsApp per se, right? But write a meaningful message. Don't write chit-chat back and forth. It's just meaningless garbage, right? And so community is slowly being destroyed, or if not pretty much destroyed in many places, due to a lack of real communication. Because the more you retreat into your phone, the less you speak to others. And I see couples at restaurants not even talking to each other the whole time, doom scrolling. I mean, how could you actually doom scroll? It's crazy. Like, if I do this, I start to get anxious instantly, right? It's not natural. It's not a natural activity. And most of the content is completely ridiculous. And so we're smarter than that. We're more intelligent than that, but we insult our own intelligence which is unbelievable, right? We insult our own intelligence. And so community is being destroyed as part of this process of AI killing the human spirit, technology killing the human spirit. It's slowly but surely happening, and a lot of people aren't aware of it. I can go to a cafe and there will be not one person talking, if you can believe it. Amazing. Really amazing. You couldn't have predicted that 15 years ago. You could barely shut people up 15 years ago. But now you can hear a pin drop. So this is an existential crisis to the point that we are intoxicated by AI and turning our back on our innate naturalness. You are a lab rat which started with the phone and will continue on with the advancements of AI systems. As a result, we just become consumers and we don't care about the human spirit or creativity itself. We just go about our life and become consumers in the online world and get fed what we think is important to us, but becomes detrimental to us because it takes us down a path that we wouldn't have naturally took without those systems in the first place. You need to remember that, right? A lot of what people think in this modern day, they would not have thought without all of this technology in the first place. They would have, let's be honest, a lot of space in their mind rather than what they have within their mind now, which is just a lot of brain rot, right, from social media and internet and obsessions with technology and so forth and so on. And so this is why I believe like something like universal basic income will be a complete disaster, because people actually have to do things. You have to be motivated to do something. If you're just getting paid to do nothing, then what are people going to do? If they're already obsessed with technology and AI and this and that, they're just going to sit home and do nothing, achieve nothing, and insult their own intelligence. Like I said, we're much more intelligent than that, and we should not behave like that or be fooled into behaving like that, right? We have to be real about this. This is why, like I said, UBI, Universal Basic Income, I believe will be a complete disaster. It really will be. And I actually don't think that that will solve poverty, so to speak, right? That's an idealistic way of thinking, and that obviously spawns in the mind of idealists. But we know that the world is not idealistic, right? And so obviously if it was going to cure poverty, we'd all be for it. But I don't think that that's going to be the case. It could even make us worse, to be honest. I mean, what would be the weekly wage of universal basic income? It might be nothing, right? And people might go down to the pub and spend it all on the pokie machines. And then they have nothing. You know what you get after that? You get nothing. You get nothing after that wage a week. And so people would begin to lack motivation with universal basic income. And personally, universal basic income will eliminate community. Because think about it. You're getting paid by the oligarchy and you're just sitting at home, like my friend Tiruvanamalai, on ChatGPT, on social media, having a laugh in the comment section, trolling someone, a stranger you don't know, again, invoking that cowardice that the online world inculcates in people. And you're doing that, but you're not in the community. You're online. Online is not a real community. They say social media, right? It's not social media. It may have been in its inception when only your friends from school and your family were on there. But now you've just got any random Joe and Jane are your friend, right? And so it completely destroys community. And so UBI will completely destroy community because people will just be at home. They won't be motivated. They will have no purpose in life. Why would you need to do anything, right? And a lot of people say, oh, it would unlock their potential. But what I see around me is there's ample potential, but it's squandered daily because I see a lot of people who have a lot of time and they spend their time on the phone. So you can't tell me if you give them more time that they'll actually do something when they already have ample time and they squander it. So it will essentially eliminate community. It won't breed harmony. And personally, I love seeing people in the community. I love going down to the chai shop. I have a chat with the postman. I have a chat with the garbage man. You know, you're in the community. You're out there. You're talking to people. You have good banter with people. It breeds harmony, right? If you're hiding behind a screen, if you're hiding in your home, in your grandmother's basement, trolling, this doesn't breed community and is bad for your mental health, right? It's better to be outside. Say hello to the postman. Say hello to the checkout people at the supermarket. This is community. This is a beautiful thing, man. Connecting with people. This is the real world.